Hi there guys, I'm finally back with a new video. So I was watching a couple of Casey Golden videos and I stumbled across her limited 2-3 watercolor challenge and I decided to give it a try. So this is already going to be a big challenge for me because as you can see here, I have a lot of watercolors, but I'm going to limit myself to tubes only. So this is going to be a challenge in itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take out all my tubes and put them in a hat, and we're going to choose our colors. Okay, guys, so I counted and I have 18 watercolor tubes in here. So I'm not looking, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just mix it around, and I'm going to go ahead and pick one. Alright, so I have my eyes closed. Everyone's favorite, yellow orc. Okay, with canson again. Alright, eyes closed. Ooh! Play-Doh blue, that's my favorite. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some paper ready, and we're gonna go and swatch these and see what I can make with it. So with this, I went ahead and just quickly swatched, and I was really happy that I did get these colors because I was able to create a really cool camo army green, which was really interesting to mess around with. And with these colors, the first thing that came to mind was immediately a beach. So that's what I ended up creating. And I didn't have time to really work with my tracing paper because I completely forgot about it. So that's why when I started taping everything down, I kind of just had to jump straight into it. So that's why I decided to choose a brush pen and just go at it from there. So I'm really proud of myself for that because I'm not the best with just coming up with designs on the spot, but I did do this quick sketch right here that you can see of just a general idea of what I wanted to do, but it definitely wasn't developed or anything. So it was really fun to just experiment and jump in on a design right on the spot. And I think if I were to change anything else during this line art process, it would definitely be the grass. Some of my strokes were heavy-handed, and it just gave off a really, I feel like at first it gave a good idea off, but by the time I started painting it in later on, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So that's why you see me ended up double layering it and such. And I think I probably would have tried to make more variety that was on the beach besides just seashells and seaweed, but that's what I tried to do with the footprints. And I think I would have, if I were to do this again, definitely the footprints I would change, because I think doing the little kid steps just was too busy down there, and so was also the fact that I put 2 left feet by accident. And this was the very first time that I was using liquid latex, and I think I did okay for my first time. Definitely need to have a brush strictly for it and get some better control on it. So I think I'll probably be working with it some more. This was definitely a really good experiment though, just to test it out and see what it's like. So I did enjoy that, but you'll see later on, I did have some patches where it was discolored or it was colored because of the green. So I definitely need some more practice with it, but for my first time using it, I think I did pretty good. Definitely would recommend doing this. It really was and that was a bit repetitive, but it was really nice being able to just focus on doing the sand and not have to worry about it getting into the grass and it just ruining it. And I think if I were to do this again with liquid latex, I would definitely put it on the edges of the water, because I feel like that would have give a nice detail appearance to having shine on the water rather than just using a white pen or something. And this was definitely a challenge for drawing waves. It was really hard to try and create a gradient in a way using just one color and water alone, but also make it where you can still see the detail of the waves that I was trying to get. But I think in the end I did really good, especially because I tried doing a more loose line art like I did. So it definitely helped try and give that appearance. And hopefully it perceived the fact that I was trying to show that it was water coming forward. So I did try my best, but it was really fun to just generally paint some waves for the first time ever. And this definitely did make me want to do some more landscape art, which I might actually be doing soon. So this was like about a couple hours later when the blue was dry, and I went ahead and did the yellow. And I think this technique with using one brush and then using my water pens to just like give some water was really helpful. It definitely made it much easier than just me having to rush to grab some water to dilute stuff. So it was very nice. And I think the hardest part I had about this was shading, because I didn't want to go straight in with blue, and green was really the only color I could get unless I layered on a bunch of layers of yellow. So that's why I messed around a lot with the shading, because that was definitely my struggle, was trying to figure out how to shade the yellow but not make it like it is on the water's edges, because I wanted that to be reserved for there only. So that's why you see me like go back and forth so much with the green, because I wanted it to be a green so that it looked like it was more natural in the limit of the colors, but also just not make it straight brown. So that's why I mess around a lot with the shading. And I think it would have been better if I had waited for the paint to dry, because I was just so impatient that I wanted to get that painting done that night. So I think if I had actually like taken my time and let everything dry, it definitely would have come out a bit better. And if I had just used different brushes in general, because I was being really, what's the word? What's the word? I don't know. I was just being really particular with just using this one brush, because I kind of like wanted to limit myself with like my brushes too a bit, just to add to the challenge. But I did end up having to pull out a detail brush and everything, so that's okay. But I think next time I might also try and use my brand new brushes. I just didn't use those because I didn't have any warm water ready, so I didn't want to deal with that. So that's why I just ended up using my old ones, which I'm totally fine with, because I still love my old ones. And I think it was definitely better, because I know this time I used blue tape. I used actual painter's tape rather than masking tape, and it definitely was just much easier in general with this painting, because just taking it off was so much easier. I ripped it less, which I really enjoyed, and I think I'm finally converted because I really should be using this over masking tape, because just masking tape is so risky when it comes to watercolor that I'm converted to painting tape forever. This I thought was a really smart idea of me, because I still had the masking tape down, and I figured if the ocean gets it, the ocean gets it. But using the blue as a sand, I feel like was just a genius idea that I had. But like I said before, I think I should have waited for it to dry, because there were some spots where it just bled out, so it's much bigger than it should be to give it an appearance of like particles in the sand. So I definitely feel like I should have been patient and waited for it to dry. But like I said, I just wanted to get this done. I think I would have tried to experiment with trying to make different greens as well if I were to repeat this, because I didn't have enough of length on that little sheet of paper that I used to swatch to really like experiment with some kinds of greens I could get. But I think I did pretty good for just like mixing equal parts together and then adding more blue to create a deeper texture to it. But I definitely would have shaded it differently. I feel like maybe instead of just doing like a whole layer of darker, I should have done just like strands of it. I feel like that would have been much nicer. in general. So that was like one tiny regret I had that I feel like I would do again if I had the chance. Um, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this painting. um, Definitely gonna be like doing this some more though. It was really fun to just like challenge myself and limit myself because when you think about watercolor, you focus more on just the colors that you can create with many colors rather than just actually limiting yourself. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people forget that can really come out of watercolor because not only can you work with water just to change the color that comes out, but you can also use other colors in lots of different ways that you never would have guessed. Like blue and yellow is kind of a bad example, but let's say I had gotten like purple and this really dark brown. That could have been like a really cool color mood thing that you could really work with. So I think I will definitely do these again. It was just really fun in general to do, and hopefully I can record it again soon. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I think I need to work with liquid latex a bit more because I do want to use it more in these paintings because it was just so helpful in this. So 10 out of 10 would recommend liquid latex if you're ever interested in being able to focus with paintings or just like have a specific focus while you can know that you're not messing up. Maybe even just like for creating like a little shadow or like making sure you don't go color out of the lines in quotes, I guess. It was just really helpful to have like a backup. So, like I said, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Um, yeah, I think maybe next time, depending on what colors I get, I might do 3. So this was just really fun to do a 2. Wow, rude. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a wonderful time, and I'll see you next video. Bye!